Hello, my name is Maria Kalauti. Welcome to Mama Maria's Kitchen. My credentials are I was in the food business for 30 years almost with my family, so I think that that gave me a lot of insight into the food industry as well as into cooking food for families more than anything. I'm also a master tailor, pattern maker, and fashion instructor. So I have a few things going on. Anyway, today we are going to be working with dried chickpeas. So dried chickpeas are a great source of plant protein. They're easy, they keep well, and best of all, when you use dried chickpeas like this much, will equal quite a lot of cans. So there's so much less garbage to contend with. Less aluminum, much less garbage, and you control the sodium, you control the cooking, there's no preservatives whatsoever because these are dried. Just to give you a little insight into chickpeas, they are like fuzzy peas. The pods themselves have a little bit of fur on the outside, and it's 1 pea per pod. So they have to be harvested in the fall or in the spring, depending on where you are in the world. They have to be harvested, they're shelled, and then dried. They're dehydrated. And then they keep for the whole winter like that, or for a very long time, let's put it that way. To use them, they have to be rehydrated before cooking. So they have to be soaked overnight, or if you're a working person, which many people are these days, you can put them to soak in the morning before you go to work, and then cook them in the evening when you come home. And even if you don't use them that night, that's fine. They can be used, they can be refrigerated, and they'll keep, and you'll be able to make chickpea salad, pasta with chickpeas, you can even make hummus with it, you can do all kinds of things, and no preservatives. That's the important part. So as I said, the first thing you have to do is soak them overnight, and we're going to get to that right now. Okay, so here we are. I need a measuring cup, a pot, a strainer, and the chickpeas. So I'm going to measure out a couple of cups. Keep in mind that these really, there we go, just a couple of cups. You can cook more if you like, but they really grow. Okay, so they double in size when as they're soaking, and then they almost double again when they're cooking. So I'm going to take these 2 cups of chickpeas, put them in a strainer, and rinse them off. Okay, so I'm going to rinse them off, and I have a wonderful touch pad. So oops, that one got away. So they're now rinsed. I'm going to place them in a pot to soak. So here they are in the pot. And then I'm going to put water up to here and let them soak overnight in a bit of salt. Or, as I said, you can do this in the morning before you go to work. So you fill it up with water. So there you have it. There is quite a lot of water in here. Can you see that? There. So it's probably 2 cups. There's probably 2 liters of water, or 2.5. 2 to 2.5 liters of water. So you have this. Now, you add a bit of salt. Yeah, you don't have to add very much, maybe just a tablespoon. I like to use kosher salt because, again, no nothing artificial. So just a tablespoon of salt, put it in there, and they soak for about 8 hours. That's easy enough, isn't it? So I'm going to cover that pot, just set it aside on the counter, and it will soak for about 8 hours. Here is a big pot of chickpeas already soaked. Now they started off less than half the size. So this is how much they double up in volume. Now we're going to take that. Now this already has salt in it. This is the water that it's been soaked in. You can rinse them, but I like to keep that water. I've rinsed them beforehand. You can rinse them out of the water that has been soaking, but that's where all the goodness is, in my opinion. So I'm going to take this and put it on the stove, turn it on high, just to get it boiling. When it boils, it's going to have some foam on top. So that foam, as that foam materializes, you have to scoop it out and throw it away. And then you just let it cook. Okay, so it's starting to come to a boil. You see what I mean about the foam? It just foams up a little bit, not a big deal. So you just grab a spoon or a spoon, whatever you happen to have. And I like to grab a little bowl here, a little garbage bowl, and I just scoop that off the top. Now, you don't have to do this, it's not absolutely necessary. It just leaves the water a little bit more clear. So there you have it. It's not a lot. Give it a stir. Give them all a stir. By the way, I love my induction cooktop. Cleanup is a breeze, and to me that's very important. I don't like to spend a whole lot of time cleaning up after spills. With the induction, it's the pot that heats up, not the element. So it makes, as I said, cleanup a breeze, because nothing ever burns on here. Any spills or whatever spill over, it's not hot enough to burn water or anything like that. So, which is a real blessing. Now, I don't like to leave it to boil over, just because it boils over. This boils very rapidly. So I'm just going to cover it up again and come back to it in a couple. So you see all the foam that came up? Not sure what causes that. Don't know. Don't really care. All I know is just that it needs to come out. In my world anyway. Just to give like a clarified water. There, it's come into a boil. Now the time elapsed here from the time I put the pot on to the time it comes to a boil, it's only about 10 minutes on an induction. On a gas stove, it takes a little bit longer on natural gas. Propane is a little hotter and takes a little less time than natural gas. So now I'm going to turn it down. Put a lid on it. I'm going to leave the lid slightly off. Actually, no, I'm just going to cover it. I put it down to a medium and just let it cook in peace there. I don't have to touch it now except to the odd time to go in and stir it. Now, I know I'm not supposed to be using a metal spoon on a Le Creuset pot, but you know what, whatever. Okay, so it's boiling now, it's simmering. I put it up a little bit higher to a medium high. You should not stall the boiling or they won't cook properly. In the event that the water absorbs or there wasn't quite enough water in there in the chickpeas, all you have to do is boil some water on the side and dump it in after it's boiling hot. Do not add cold water to it. You will stop the cooking. That's the only thing with any kind of legume, that is. So this is going to cook now all by itself, nice and quietly for about an hour and a half. I just have to taste. Oh yes, I'm going to add just slightly more salt, just because there wasn't quite enough here for this much. So I'm going to add that much. Done. I will taste them once they're cooked to check for salt. So you see, you really do control the sodium in there, and it doesn't get much more natural than that. So the chickpeas are almost cooked. Actually, let me taste them and see. There's one. See, this peel is starting to come off, so they're cooked. Don't have quite enough salt in them, so I'm going to add some more salt. That's why you taste. So I'm going to add, and this is all entirely up to you, how much how much or how little salt you want on them. I added another tablespoon because there's a lot of chickpeas here. And FYI, if you see chickpeas that are discolored like this, I'll show you the difference. Oops. You see the difference? This one here is good. This one here you throw out because that's hard. It's not going to cook. Okay? Okay, so the chickpeas have been drained and are cool. They're ready to use in chickpea salad. Or if you just want to store them for the week, leave them to cool in the water and put them in the fridge right with the same water. Now that water will gel a little bit, so you can rinse them off before you use them. And there's sauce left over that's going to be put in a container and in the fridge as well. Once you have sauce, you've got your chickpeas. All you need is a little bit of pasta if you want, or you can even just put some chickpeas in here and cook them up, and you've got yourself a full meal.